Hello and welcome to the Anyone Can Play Guitar podcast,
which gives you, the listener, a series of hints and pointers on your journey as a musical artist.
providing you with interviews from those in the music industry, along with our own experiences.
Ben and James shine some light on the many pitfalls and opportunities that being a musician has to offer.
This week we've got a short episode to introduce the podcast, why we're doing it, and what you can expect to hear in the coming episodes.
Okay, so James, why are we doing this podcast?
Why indeed, Ben? We both like podcasts.
Correct.
Yeah. And
Both like music.
both like music. We've, since finishing in our band many years ago, we've not really done much music related creativity, I guess. And so, a bit like when we started the band, we like podcasts. That looks like something we could maybe do. Could we do it? Maybe we could do it. Shall we have a go at doing it?
Why not?
Yeah, let's give it a go. So,
Yeah.
and then we thought, right, well,
How does it work?
one, how does it work? And two, what the hell would we actually do? Which got we're on to thinking about the fact that when we were in a band, there's any number of mistakes that we made,
Which you'll definitely hear about.
which you will absolutely hear about. And equally, that
A lot of things we did well as well,
there's lots of things we did well.
which you'll definitely hear about.
Absolutely. You'll hear about the great things I did and the terrible things that you did.
Okay, sounds about right.
But I think there's a bit of it for me that I think if we had hindsight, which is obviously a wonderful thing, there's so many things that we potentially have done differently. I mean, not that we regret anything about our time in the band.
No.
It was fantastic, but undoubtedly, if we'd had some kind of guidance on certain things, it would have really helped and would probably have done a few things differently. So we thought, right, well, would we just do a podcast of the two of us talking about different topics? And I was like, that's, are people really going to listen to the two of us waffling on about things for, it's, so I thought, well, the music community generally up for supporting one another.
Yeah.
So how about we get various different people, whether they're people who have been in a band, people who are in a band, on to share their stories, experiences, but then also, people from the other side of the industry, whether it's publicists, record labels, people from the radio.
It's kind of like demystifying it as well a little bit.
Well, a little bit, because there's certain things, right, if you want to get your song played on the radio, or how does that work? How would you even go about doing that?
What's the difference between a tour manager and a manager?
Yeah.
Or publishing deal and a record deal?
Yeah. Why would you want any of those things?
Exactly, yeah.
But even before that, how do you go about even creating a song? What does that look like?
How did this artist create a song?
Yeah, when you want to record something, what should you do? Once you've got a recorded song, who do you give it to? There's just so many different things that, I don't know, it just feels like it would be potentially useful to a lot of people who are out there making music, whether they're in a band or whether they're a solo artist, to just hear some stories and some useful insight from other people who've been there, seen it, or currently doing it. So certainly not a manual of...
It's not a lecture either. It's
do this, and this, and you will be successful.
Because if it worked like that, we probably wouldn't be doing the podcast.
No. No, if there was an easy formula, then, yeah.
Well, that's similar to what I was going to say. There's 3 reasons I'm doing this. One, you and I haven't done anything since our band went on permanent hiatus.
Yeah.
I'm never saying we've quit. It's just permanent hiatus.
No, we're going to do some kind of take that comeback in
Definitely.
20 years' time.
Yeah. So yes, podcast kind of jumped into my life when the band moved apart.
Yeah, right.
Totally by coincidence. I was thinking about that the other day.
Is that how you filled the void in your life?
I think it is. I think it must have been. So yeah, that whole thing of you and I doing something creative, I like to sit like the buzz of when we first started writing songs together, going, you know what, our mate does this. I bet we can do this. And then going, actually, we kind of can do this. Let's find a drummer. Let's find a bass player. Let's find some friends that are going to come and watch us. And from there, we had some amazing experiences. The second reason I want to do this is someone's in a band or just starting a band or been in for a year or been in for 10 years and they listen to an episode and go, actually, what they said, I'm going to try that and it works for them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely awesome to think that, there's people out there, some great talent and maybe it's one little snippet of one episode, something that they think, yeah,
let's put a house concert on.
I'll give that a go, and it helps them on their way.
Definitely. Or I'll use the address to get onto the radio and
or whatever it might be. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it'll like we discover the next whoever because it doesn't work. This is just one part of it. There's
not what it's about. But
it's a massive, as we'll find out, getting the interviews. There's a lot of people out there for a lot of different reasons in the music industry.
Yeah. Well, already we're finding that a lot of people are really up for it. As soon as you say it, so no, we're pulling this, content together to try and help other artists, on their journey. They're like, oh right, no, quite like that. No, fair enough. I'll get involved.
I'll give you 20 minutes of me time, half an hour of me time.
Yeah, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So,
and the final thing, from a not an altruistic point of view, this third and final, is that it's kind of cool as well. I was like. Some of the people we've met already, and the people we're going to meet, are in bands that I've listened to for 18 years.
Yeah.
Or listened to on the radio since we were in 10, 11. I mean, it's like when you tell people at work, I want one interview such and such. I don't want to spoil who we've got coming up, but it's kind of cool.
No, I like. There's a bit for me.
That's the selfish part of it.
Well, there's a bit when we used to see other people in bands before we started, and we're like, oh, we could do that. Now, on the one hand, it was easy to form a band, but on the other hand, it was really hard to get good at it. And I guess it's going to be, from so far, on the one hand, it's easy to create a podcast.
Yes.
On the other hand, it's extremely hard. There's a lot of work involved. Yeah. And from bits of research that we've done, there's obviously lots of stuff that actually goes into the background of actually making a podcast successful. So just doing one and creating something, a bit like just creating a bit of music, it can be very simple. But if you want to do it and you want to do it well,
and meet cool people,
you
get good content.
There's loads of stuff involved. So it's also going to be quite interesting.
Definitely, I'm enjoying what we're doing. And that's how cool the whole first part of it, as in when you're in the band and you're getting practice rooms sorted out, like ringing up recording studios to like get time, or booking with promoters for gigs. It's all exciting, but it's a bit of work to it. But when you get there and you're sitting in front of insert interviewee, as we've done a few times, it's kind of like you get that, I'm backstage at the Sage in Gateshead, which is a wonderful venue, or we're in the pub with, again, I don't want to say, it is like, it's like that all that hard work leads up to the interview, and we'll put it out.
And equally speaking to people, as we've started to, on the other side of the world,
exactly,
is great. And there is a feeling of excitement as we're starting this, because we have no idea whether, like you say, like just a couple of people are going to download this, or whether ideally, as the plan is, that we'll get
lots of people,
a whole load of listeners. So that's going to be interesting as well.
One last thing to mention is that on each episode, we're going to have a proportion of the time dedicated to a good cause or charitable cause of the person we're talking to. A lot of people in the music industry have these causes because they have been given this rarefied air to breathe for their career, and they would like to give stuff back. It's not through any other reason other than they want to do it.
Yeah, lots of people have some kind of charity or good cause that's quite close to the heart for whatever reason it may be. And so, like you say, at the end of each episode, the core will be talking about whatever part of the musical industry that they're a specialist in, or they've spent time throughout their career doing. But there'll be a small part at the end of each episode where we just get the word out, I guess. Because
definitely, there's some great stuff as well. It's really interesting as well.
Just to share the word, spread the word, see if more people can get involved, whether that's donating £1 or whether that's actually actively getting involved in the charity, just a bit to get the word out. So
cool. So what you'll probably expect Each episode is a bit of James and I talking about what's coming up. Bit of
short bit,
yeah.
We need to make sure we don't waffle for too long.
Exactly. Bit of crack about what we're up to and about experiences that we've had. The interview itself, and then at the end, a bit of a debrief of some of the key points we've got. And again, it's not a lecture, and it's not going to be you must do this, this, and this.
You did say key points, though.
I did say key points. I went right into business mode there, didn't I?
You did, didn't you?
There'll be someone I know from work listening to this going, marking on their business bull bingo. It's going to say guys in a second.
Yeah, we should have a forfeit. We should have a tally. We'll get listeners.
Is that a freebie? Can I have that as a freebie?
Maybe. I'd quite like to be 1-0 up already.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going to try and keep the episodes to maybe 45 minutes-ish.
Yeah.
That seems to be a reasonable sweet spot in
There's
podcast land.
Double headers going on as well.
Yeah, there might. We'll see how it goes, really.
Yeah. Any feedback, get in touch. We'll put all the details in the show notes, and we'll have a bit at the end about all the ways to contact us. But any suggestions for guests or anyone that you may know who might want to get involved?
Yeah, definitely.
Send them our way.
This is all new. We're learning how to... Well, we're learning everything. We're learning how to interview people. We're learning how to design the website. We're learning how to edit files. We're learning...
Learn how to talk again. Because you're talking in an interview is completely different.
Well, yeah. Hopefully we'll not come across too wooden all the time.
And I need to stop saying yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. And answering people's questions.
That's something we've excelled at in the first couple of interviews, I guess, as asking a question and then almost giving them an option of some answers that they might want to respond to.
All they're doing is thinking about what their answer's going to be.
Yeah, so I tell you what, maybe we'll just let you answer.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to get out of. So, hopefully there'll be some great content for you to listen to, and if it isn't, let us know.
Yeah, if we're boring the hell out of if there's too much waffle from us and you want more interview, or if you want a bit more of our spiel, just generally, we're keen to build up a community
definitely,
and see where we can take it.
Cool.
Right, well, yeah. On that note, we'll
speak to you in a week's time.
Yeah,
with our first guest. We'll tell them.
Go for it.
Yeah, Paul Smith from Maximo Park will be our first guest when we spoke to him in August of this year.
Quite a while ago.
Yeah.
We've reached the end of this week's episode of Anyone Can Play Guitar podcast.
Big thank you for tuning in, and remember to stop by iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts from and subscribe so that you never miss an episode.
While you're there, it would be amazing if you could leave a rating and a review.
All the show notes can be found at www.acpgmusic.com, and if you want to get in touch,
email us your questions, any feedback and any suggestions to info@acpgmusic.com.
That's it for now. Keep supporting upcoming artists,
and we'll catch you next time.